All right, lesson number 33, I believe. So today we're going to talk about the ancient Egyptian, or rather I should say ancient Kemetic parable or story of the heart being weighed on the scale opposite the feather, and what this means and what this symbolizes. Right? So the heart symbolizes what you love, what's important to you, what you care about, and a feather doesn't weigh anything, ideally speaking. You know, I'm sure it has some weight to it, but, you know, in this sense of the story, the feather doesn't weigh anything against the heart. So that means your heart cannot have any weight to it, which means that in order to make this transformation, this transcendence, you have to be able to let go of the ego, which is this human identity. You can't care about any of this stuff here on this earthly human plane that's important to you. So all of this stuff that you're into, these video games you like to play, Super Mario Brothers, you know what I'm saying, these comic books you read, none of it can mean anything to you. You have to be willing to detach from it and let it go. If you believe this human existence is real and you're attached to all of this stuff and this stuff is important to you, you're going to stay right here, right? So this is the meaning of the heart being weighed on the scale opposite the feather. So we're going to read about this here today. And, yeah, you know. All right.
In the Book of the Dead, the heart of Osiris is balanced in one pan of the scales to exactly counterbalance the feather of rightful order or law in the other. It is interesting that the only part of the viscera the Egyptians left in the mummy was the heart, the indispensable century, symbolizing eternity. It says, all commenced, consider the heart the image of the sun within a human. Curlot 1971, 142. On the other hand, the feather symbolizes the wind and the creator gods Ptah, Hathor, and Osiris. Feather suggests the flight of birds and the element of air. As a hieroglyphic determinative sign, the feather is used in the composition of words, indicating emptiness, dryness, lightness,
Emptiness.
height.
Indicating emptiness, dryness, right.
And flight.
Height and flight, right.
102-103. The deceased is described as the lotus bird on the limitless plain. A falcon.
On the limitless plain, right.
A heron. And it says IS8. So the symbolism suggests that the deceased
turn the page there.
Heart of sun within balances, equally with the solar wind, Horus lineage, or
Horus's lineage,
or rightful order of the lambda right arm. For this to happen, both arms of the lambda genome had to balance, operate fully. This only occurs when the lytic phase begins, and Crow controls the rightful order of the operator. Sequences not C1 protein.
Right, so that's talking about the lytic cycle taking precedence over the lysogenic cycle, which is Horus defeating Set. All right, so now we're going to get into the 42 negative commandments from the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Papyrus of Ani, also known as the Book of Coming Forth by Day. And this is the source that the 10 commandments in the Bible are borrowed from, right? And so we're going to get into what this means. This has to do with making the transition after death to avoid reincarnation. So I'm going to have you read, there's 42 of them, I'm going to have you read a few of them. Go ahead and read those, son.
I have not done wrong. I have not robbed. I have not stolen. I have not slain people. I have not destroyed the food offerings. I have not reduced measures. I have not stolen the God's property. I have not told lies. I have not stolen food. I was not fooling.
Right, so you know, that's a few of them. There's 42 of them. It goes on like, I have not deceived anyone. I have not committed fornication with a fornicator. I have not murdered. So here's what you need to understand. Here's what this means, is that the ego is different from the soul, right? The ego, which is the name on your ID or the name on your driver's license or whatever name your parents gave you, that's not really who your soul is. This whole thing is like a video game your soul is playing, this whole earthly existence, right? So what it means is that your ego has done these things in this fake video game we're living in, but your soul has not done any of these things, So you may have done some of these things as the ego, but the soul is different, right? So when it says, I have not deceived anyone, I have not murdered, I have not stolen, your ego may have done those things, which is this video game character, so to speak, but your soul is innocent of those things. And that's what you have to realize. That's what it all basically means. You have to realize that you are your soul and that you're not this ego. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's what's required to make this transcendence. So in the next lesson, we're going to get into the practical instructions on what to do at the moment of death. All right?
All right.
So we're looking forward to that. All right. Peace, everybody.
Peace.